Hello. I know it's been a long ass time. I apologize up front. We went from like bi-weekly uploads to it's probably been probably 3 or 4 months. But we're back at it, and I'm super pumped to be here. I mean, I feel like we're to the point now where it's like I don't even feel like Ryan and John are guests anymore. It's just kind of like this week we have Ryan on, like kind of thing. So it's me, Dr. Digital Duran, aka all that good shit. Here with my boy Chris, aka True Tech. Of course, we got Ryan with us, aka Ice Cold Edge. I'm super hyped for this. I think we're gonna kind of deep dive into a little bit of questions that are a little bit different than what we like kind of normally go, because we've gone over the like, how did you get into the fighting games and things like that. So I wanted to get into more like brass tacks type of stuff, because I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, the reason we haven't been posting as much is because I've been playing way more, I've been participating way more than I have in the past, because traditionally I'm more like community focused as far as running events and things like that, and I want to see other people do well. And you know, then I go to a tournament and go 0-2, and I'm like, I don't understand why I went 0-2, and it's like, bro, maybe you played the damn game, you wouldn't be 0-2 kind of thing. So I've been playing more, and that being said, I think I'm like starting to get the results that like I wanted to see. So that's what we're gonna kind of dive into, is like more tournament focused, high level thought process with this kind of episode today. So first we're gonna start with CEO. So I haven't been to CEO yet until this year. So normally everybody knows me, like I'm the Evo dude, like I'm like, yo, Evo is so fire, and I've been to 8 or 9 of them. I mean, probably all of us in this room combined, we've probably been over 30 Evos, like let's be honest, probably. Yeah. And I've always wanted to go to CEO. So the wife threw a curveball this year and was like, hey, I think you should just kind of go by yourself. We were originally planning to go together. So instead I was like, man, I kind of want to go to CEO. Like I ain't been yet. I'm a huge wrestling fan. Everybody knows that. I was kind of sad we didn't get to see any like Kenny Omega or like Xavier Woods or anything like that there, because I know they're normally there. So Ryan joined me. What's funny, because we didn't even join. It just, I happened to hit up Ryan like, hey dog, you going to CEO? And like, it was probably the week before, and he's like, yeah, I'll be there. And I was like, dope, I'll be there kind of thing. Because this was all super last minute, like kind of thing. But we all, and it's funny, we actually ended up on like the same flight with each other and all sorts of stuff. So but I went, and I will say this, I haven't been to Combo Breaker, and I know everybody loves Combo Breaker, but having gone to like, I feel like the big 3 is like CEO, Combo Breaker, and Evo for like stateside at least. Yeah. So this is my first time at CEO, and I will say this, I think CEO is my favorite tournament because it is large scale in the sense of like Evo, but to me personally, it still feels FGC rooted. And I feel like that's what Evo is lost. And not, this is not a bad thing. Like Evo is just evolved into this. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, it's it is what it is. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just like that's what Evo is evolved to. Like I feel no like pun intended. But if you're going for like fighting games, I think CEO is better than if you're going for like a vacation. Like if you're going and you're bringing the wife or your kids or anything like that, Evo is like a different tier because it's Vegas. There's so much shit to do kind of thing. But CEO is way more like FGC. And I would be honest, bro, like most of the shit I was doing, like we had some drinks, we were having a good time. You know, I played Street Fighter until like fucking 4 in the morning. Like it was great. Like I couldn't tell you like, I'm 37. I couldn't tell you the last time I did something like that. I was probably 23, 24. Like it's been a long time since I was like, I'm just playing, I'm just doing the thing that I enjoy doing and not looking at a clock or anything like that kind of thing. So I would love to hear kind of what Ryan thought of it. And then I think we're going to kind of go over, because I've been hyping this CEO up. So I'm hoping maybe next year CEO might be like the official moonmarauders kind of like meet up tournament where like we just get a bunch of people from the community to go kind of thing, because I enjoyed it that much that like I personally would like to go yearly at this point. So I would just like to kind of talk about it and see what everybody feels about it and what Ryan's perspective was too, because I mean you had fun too, you went golfing and like
I did the whole thing.
So I'd love to hear what you have to think about it, because I loved it. So
yeah, so CEO and Combo Breaker really like they are very different from Evo in that like Evo is more like a convention. It's like it's more yeah, it's more like a convention. It's more like a celebration of the fighting game community, and there's just a bit more I don't know pomp and circumstance to it, I guess, or it's like more it's just more I don't know. It's hard to put it into words, but
Mm.
Combo Breaker and CEO are for the players. Like if you're a player and you're one of those people that like to be up on the late night demon time, getting games in. Whoever, if you're the type back in the day that will walk down the hotel hallway looking for button presses, like
Yes,
that's
sir. What y'all playing in there?
that's kind of the vibe you're going for. Like I definitely remember leaving Jabali Land on Saturday night multiple times, telling the security guards, see you tomorrow." And it got to the point where she's like, "I've seen you like 3 or 4 times, and it's like 5 in the morning. Like, what's happening?" Uh, because it just happens. Like I run into somebody or I walk past somebody playing, and once I sit down, I'm in there. So
Bro, y'all don't understand. Let me tell y'all something about Ryan. My man is a killer. Like we was in Jabali World, and it was probably like 2:33 a.m. Saturday night. I was already up till like 3:30 Friday night. So by Saturday night rolling around, I was like, I'm gonna do this, but man, I'm tired. Like I was feeling Friday night because I met up with like one of my good friends. She lives out in Florida, so I met up with her. We did a bunch of shit Saturday, but I had to be up and ready by like 10. So like, man, it was a long ass day. So Ice is sitting there playing. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm going back to the room. I'm tired. This dude's running a set, and he goes, oh, damn, I didn't even know you was sitting there. He was sitting there for an hour and some change. And like, we were not quiet. We were having full ass conversations with the three of us. And he was so in the zone that he was like, dog, I didn't even know y'all was behind me. I'm like, how did you not hear us?
yeah, I was all the way in there. And what happened was in the tournament, I lost to this Lars player, and that kept me from making out of my pool. I ended up going 3-2. I was doing pretty well. Ended up playing iMusician, he's like world's best Yoshi. And I ended up losing, and then I played this other guy, and then I had to make one more match to make it out. And ended up losing to like some what I would consider like level one, like Lars stuff. Like, okay, clearly I need to work on the matchup. So, all right, I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm finding every single Lars player that I can find, and we're gonna run it. And we're gonna run it as long as they're willing to do it. And I played some really good Lars players, and got some advice and stuff like that. And that to me, that's the value of going to these tournaments. And actually, it took me quite a while to really fully understand it. And I got to give a shout out to my boy, the realist, because he really, really kind of put me onto this in Tekken 7, because that's when we were traveling heavy. Because prior to that, I would go and I would play, and I'd see people I know, but it was a lot of times where I would go and play for a little bit, then go to my room, go to sleep, and just like not really get the real value out of it. But in Tekken 7, and we travel a lot, we would go and we would find the room, where are we playing? Who's up? What's up? Like we're about it. And until fools fall asleep, we're trying to get it in. And that's where, to me, that's where a lot of leveling up happens. You get a lot of reps that you don't normally get at home. You can ask questions, you can have conversations about stuff. It's just such a rich place to like level up and to get the full FGC experience. Being a married dad of one with 2 dogs and whatnot, like I don't even get that much time like that anymore. Um, and there was a time where we did that like every single weekend, back at the House of Goons, which by the way, it's sad that I can't call it House of Goons anymore, because that has taken on a new meaning in this generation.
Oh
But
man.
uh, but yeah, I mean, we would do that like literally every single weekend. 30 to 40 dudes come to the house, and we would play until 3 or 4 in the morning, and then play poker from 4 to like 7 in the morning. And it was just like a thing. So I think that kind of relates to my stamina. I think we'll end up talking about that. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it like nothing else. So even when I'm losing or I'm frustrated or whatever, it's just I don't know, it's like a beautiful struggle. I really like it.
Yeah, for sure. I could see it. Like I play fighting games and I watch like you guys play, and I'm like, man, they're just like, it's like a different notch above because y'all can both sit down and just be like, yo, I'm gonna just grind this set and like be playing until you know, the sun's coming up, and I'm like, bro, I'm
Yeah.
spent. But I also like,
ADHD. That's like one of those. Like it's like the one good thing about it is like if I'm into something, I'm into it. And fighting games have kept me. And there's enough variety. You get new versions, you get new characters, stuff like that. There's enough variety that I can keep that. But so many other things that I wish I was better at in life. But like fighting games can keep hold me to that. So like yeah, my wife is
I
great
think
with
that's
me,
something like
but damn,
us as humans
if
too, though.
she don't know, if she weren't here, bro, I would be every night. Before when we
Yeah.
were, I would be like, okay, when we lived in different places, I'd be like, oh, once I got that good night text, I'm like, oh, that means I'm good until about 2 a.m. till I need to actually go to bed.
Business
Man,
time, business.
Yep.
real.
Now it's
Before I
snuggle
moved,
time. Before that was grind time.
yeah. Before I moved in with my now wife, I mean, it was like I worked, I got off work, I had like a 3 or 4 hour window where I would play. I would eat for an hour and play for another like 3 or 4
Hmm.
hours, just long enough so I get just enough sleep to go back to work. And I did that all week, and then I would like
Yep.
kind of hang on the weekends with my wife. So that was
Hmm.
like a shock to her. She's like, "Well, why aren't we like spending as much like quality time with?" I was like, "Because I had a whole week to basically do what I wanted to do. So now I can like let my brain kind of rest or whatever."
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, and I noticed that too, just within my house, because like, uh, everybody knows I'm in a house full of gamers, and they're the same way. Like, my wife can for real like be like, all right, I'm gonna play WoW today, and it's like, I wake up at like 8:39. I'm coming out. She's already in the living room, and it's like she's gonna play until it's bedtime, whatever that bedtime may be,
Hmm.
11 midnight, whatever. I'm like, bro, you just played for like 13 hours straight, and I'm just like, y'all are built different. I just can't do it. Like, I don't know. I've never been like that. Like,
and when it comes to improvement in fighting games too, I don't necessarily think you have to be like a super like you don't have to be like that. I think you have to be introspective on the things that are giving you trouble,
mhm,
and be willing to look critically at the way you're playing, and the things you have to deal with and try to figure out, okay, what's my plan for the next time. Um, you don't necessarily have to, because my brain is just it just likes to focus on something. I like to have something that I can lock in on, which is why
mhm.
I like fighting games and why I like golf so much too. It requires that level of focus, and I really enjoy that. But yeah, man, just like be introspective. Like I remember when I was younger, like I didn't want to watch my losses. It was just too painful. Like I just
Hmm.
I was like, oh man, I'm terrible. I can't believe I lost and like whatever, whatever. And I felt like I would look at that loss and be like, oh my God, this dude, like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you even out here playing, whatever? And once I got over that, um, most of the time, even if I did feel like I took a bad loss, it wasn't as bad as I was telling myself.
Mhm.
Typically it turned out I was just being worse to myself than I really should be.
Yeah, I think that's something too. Because so the next question I kind of want to roll into is, I feel like I feel like the word or phrase has been around forever, but I feel like it's much more aware within society nowadays, and that's mental stack. So it's like as you're doing stuff, you kind of build like this stack, and like everyone has like a tolerance where basically that pot flows over or whatever kind of thing. So I get in Friday, or I'm sorry, Thursday. It's late Thursday. I get in at like 11:30. I still worked Friday. Like I made mistakes. I worked that Friday that we got there, and it was just like we had to change hotels. So from 12 noon we had to be out, and then we didn't get into the hotel we were staying at for the rest of the week until 3. So we basically dropped our stuff out. Blackout had his pool at 4, so we basically dropped it off at 3. His pool was at 4, mine was at 6. By the time I was ready to play, it was just like between working, switching hotels, working while waiting for the hotel to open, finally getting the hotel, done, and then watching him play. By the time I was ready to play, it was so like bro, I don't even want to play. Like, I wanted to play, but it was like, I don't care about this tournament, like, kind of thing. Like, I was like, I'm ready just to play my matches, be done, go get something to eat, have some drinks, have a good time, and then to start enjoying CEO. And like, it's really weird because after I was out, because I went 0-2, everybody knows I hate playing mirror matches. So I have this, like, I feel like this dark aura that's traveling with me every time I go to like a big tournament. We went to Texas Showdown. I lost the mirror match. My very first match at CEO was a mirror match. And it was just like, bro, sitting down and watching homeboy pick, you know, jury as well, it was just like, bro, I don't even want to do this shit right now, kind of thing. So by the time I finally played, I was like, yo, I'm ready for this to be done. And when it was finally done, that's when CEO just took off, like, for me. Like, I was like, yo, I started having a good time, bro. I was playing Street Fighter 4. I haven't played Street Fighter 4 in probably 8 years, bro. And it was just like, it was kind of cool for me because I actually enjoyed playing it because it was cool. I was not good at Street Fighter 4 because that was like my first fighting game that I played. So playing and going back to playing it, like, I could see how much I improved, even though it's a completely different game. Like, my fundamentals and the way I'm playing the game is completely different now versus back then. And that's what I learned through playing Street Fighter 4. So one of the things that I really wanted to like bring up and have a conversation with was like, when you guys are dealing with like real life shit and you guys are getting ready for this tournament, like, how do you guys feel like you deal with mental stack issues, kind of things, where you're there, you know, you're there to do business? How do you keep like zoned in? You know, do you like, is it preparation before? Is it preparation when you're there? Like, what does that look like?
I'll go ahead and let Chris.
Yeah, I
go
feel like
first.
my answer, because I feel like Ryan honestly is a lot more prepared for the kind of stuff. So I feel like I have here. So for me, there's like two. So we'll go like a local. Like, I kind of have an idea, let's say, of, you know, what characters I'm gonna play. So as long as I have like a general game plan about characters, I'm good there. I know I'm gonna have to play John. I know John's probably gonna run DJ because it's a more explosive character on there. So like, I know, like, dealing with that, I kind of have an idea. Or other, like said here, for bigger tournaments, majors, and national stuff like that. If I can't, like, honestly, I just kind of like, I just focus on the match rather than like the player. I've done that before and it worked out. I remember the first time I made other pools, I went through, I went to the bracket, I looked up everyone's name, I found replays, and it helped out. There was a dude I had to beat to get out of winners, and he had a habit I found with Alex, and I was like, oh, he does this. He always goes for command grab after this setup, get a jump, big like kind of thing. But for these days, and I feel like I've overall done better with this, not going in for a game because I'm too, like, I've seen myself look for that thing, and then that thing doesn't come, and I wasn't looking for everything else. And I see that you'll watch me stream, and I'll be looking for Akuma, and I'm like, okay, if I could tot to a demon flip, and then I'm gonna run into the one Akuma who's just ground base, and I wasn't thinking, I'm over here, I'm looking, I'm in this. So now I just kind of keep it here. It didn't focus me. I'm very music oriented. For the most part, at majors, unless there's a character who has a specific sound cue, and for right now, for me, the only character that has that is just Ken, where I gotta hear the difference between heavy Jinrai and the rest of them. Pretty much every other character has either a visual cue, or it doesn't matter the difference between heavy, light, and medium. So otherwise, I tend to make a playlist for the tournament. I'm like, okay, for this match, I need to be real quick. I need to get an ass. I need to hear some Nuck If You Buck, or some Pastor Troy, something just all tempo. And if it's a slower match, I gotta play a lot of neutral. I will play something that's a little bit slower, not a ballad because then I'll know something like that, but like something a little bit slower, and that helps me think of the tempo of the match. And actually, that's something I'll do. So I'm like, okay, if I know I gotta play a lot of neutral, I gotta play a Shoto. They got fireballs. I can't just get in one time and be here. I gotta worry about a DP, etc. I gotta really be. I will play, like, I don't know, I'll play some Soundgarden or some Audio Slave, something that's like it's a little bit slower, and I can be like, you're doing too much. If I'm going way faster than the song's going, unless I know I'm doing too much, and that's something I've been doing. That helps me, and like, even if I'm on stage, unless I need to hear that sound, I will listen to my music instead. And it's always like, if I'm on stream and you see me nodding and everything and I'm getting into it, it's always that's what's kind of helped me, and then, like it just simulates the at home because I don't listen to game music at home either. I listen to my music at home, and if I'm losing at home, I'm like, let's switch up the vibes, and I'll play. And so it kind of helps translate that home in the tournament for me, and that's kind of been when I go in. And outside of that, my game plan for my character typically, like I've already got that figured out by tournament time. I'm like, on this knockdown, I do this, that kind of thing, and then hopefully all I have to do is think about what they're doing and react to what they're doing, and the rest of my decisions for the most part are hopefully already been made on my notes app.
Yeah, I struggle with this a lot, all the way through Tekken 7. So a lot of the stuff that I do now comes from a result of the 7 or 8 years, however long Tekken 7 was a thing. Really, and even before that, like in older games, like Soul Calibur 3, Soul Calibur 4, Soul Calibur 5, I would practice and practice and practice. I'm like, I'm a monster when it comes to that kind of stuff. But then I would get to the tournament and not play the same. Like it was really hard for me to replicate the way I played when I was comfortable, or versus people that I knew, going into unfamiliar places. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, and this is going to sound like super lame, but first of all, is equipment. Like, it took me longer than I'd like to admit that, man, you actually need like a monitor that's going to be like the tournament monitors. Like, when I was playing Soul Calibur 5, I had this like big ass TV that I was playing on and shit. And like, I would get to a tournament, my timing would be all off. Like, it would just feel not the same, and I just couldn't concentrate when it was like that. Secondarily, I kind of mentioned about how hard I was on myself for a long period of time. Like, I felt like if I lost, then I was like a terrible person, or like, it really affected how I felt about myself if I lost. So every match was like, man, I don't want to lose to so and so or whatever. And so that was a big thing too. And during the Tekken 7 time period, I started to think of it like a little bit like in absolute terms, like everyone at this tournament except for one person is going to lose. Everyone's going to lose. So you don't need to feel more or less than any one person because you lost. It's part of the journey. Just do your best. And if you're going to die, then put it all out there. Like, go out there and put your stuff out there. And I try to go forward with that. Like, somebody's gonna die today, and I'm not gonna die not doing my stuff. And so that mentally is something I take into it. Now, for preparation, I try to another thing that I try to avoid doing, because I've done this in tournaments a lot in the past, is to start playing in tournament matches cold. Like, I never do that anymore. I remember one time, Soul Calibur 2, super long ago, I drove us overnight to New Orleans, Louisiana, no sleep, and went in there and tried to play in some tournament and lost. And I was so mad. That was like one of the 3 or 4 times I retired, because I went up there. I had no sleep, no preparation. I played cold. I did terrible. My friends did great, and I felt so bad. So I try to never play cold. That's why I always travel with a setup. And in my room, whether I use it or not, I just feel like it's essential to do that. I get 20 to 30 minutes warming up before I go. I'd like to play a few matches if I can before. Then I try to go down there and play on the setups where they're actually playing before, just to have that, like, okay, I'm in the mix kind of thing. If I'm really in control of my time, then my preparation starts as soon as I wake up. Like, I'll wake up, and I'll try to do something physical. So like, I'll get up and I'll run, or I'll do some sort of like workout of some kind to get the blood going and make sure like everything's activated. I make sure I eat a good something, so I'm not feeling any hunger or anything like that. Because I feel like if I'm nervous and hungry, like they like interact in some weird way. I don't know, like an empty stomach when you're nervous at the same time is just too much. And then so yeah, I make sure that I've like activated my body in early in the day, because I feel like your mind and your body they're just connected. You can't have one without the other, and that helps. And then, like I said, my warm up, a lot of the warm up stuff I do now actually comes from videos that I've watched from FDX. He's a very popular Tekken streamer, or anybody who watches this probably knows who he is. But he did really good videos on warm ups, movement drills, defensive warm ups, throw breaking. That kind of goes all the way back to the old school days when you actually had to read hands, break throws.
Yeah.
So I've always done that, but like those types of things just to get my mind connected to my hands. I want to feel that before I go and play. And once I'm there, I feel like because I struggle with nervousness quite a bit. I've learned that taking deep breaths has such a huge effect. Like if you watch me on any tournament match before a tournament match starts, I take the hugest big breath, hold it for a second, blow it out, and I still feel like the excitement of the moment because I mean it is competitive stress. Like the feeling that you felt, Duran, where he's like, I don't want to do this. That's because you know that this is competitive stress and it's over your head, and you know that's part of the journey or whatever. But in any case, I take that deep breath in, and even though I still feel it, like I can still act. Like I feel like I can still move my hands, and even if I'm nervous and my hands are like a little jittery or whatever, for some reason, like having that deep breath grounds me a bit. And after that, it's pretty much just scrap and try to identify what's going wrong, like in a given match. Because now I'm talking about like in the match. Like I feel like that's a super important thing. Is just to be able to identify what's happening. I got hit by this. This guy likes to side step here, or this guy, his mix-ups are good, but his poking is bad. You know, or even if you gotta like take a minute to say like this dude just he really can't fuck with me. If you know like all of that stuff really is what you mentally kind of position yourself to try to exert your will on your opponent, and you can feel it. Like I feel like there are times in a match when you like, I have broken this person's will, and now I'm just gonna get out of here. And you probably sure it's definitely happened to you. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. My timing's all wrong, and I'm just scrambling here, just flailing, and I'm out of there. So
that's what I'm like. I gotta try something. That's what you hit at. I gotta try something.
Exactly. And yeah,
it's funny that you say the deep breath thing, because it's like I was with Blackout watching his CEO pools or whatever, and like I'm sitting there telling him the things that you're saying to me. I'm like, yo, between rounds, if you lost, just take a breath, like you got this kind of thing. And then I sit down and play my match, and I'm like,
well, yeah, no,
AT, bro. I'm just like, let that bitch rip. And then so after I'm done playing my match, he's like, bro, what the hell? And I'm like, what? And he's like, you read it up so quick, I couldn't even tell you like to do something or like to take a breath and I'm just like, oh shit, you right? Because like I'm in there and I'm like, the first guy I lost to was just like, it is what it is. But I have like, honestly, my two characters, which sound insane, is Jury and Ken, have been my like kryptonite when I'm going into tournaments. And the problem is I lose to like bad Kens. Like I'm cool with losing. Like I lost to the Jury and I was like, yo, that dude was just good. Like I'm okay with that. Like it happens. But like this Ken that I lost to, I was like, this dude is not good. And like that's not me taking credit away from him, but I could just tell like the way he was playing was like, yo, this I've beaten people much better than this kind of thing. And I'm playing this dude and I'm like, yo, he's just like, and I couldn't adapt to it. Like in the first match I beat him, like I rolled him kind of thing, like the first match. And then like I'm up 1-0 feeling good. And then in my mind, it's like what you said, where it's like, in my head, I'm like, yo, this dude ain't shit. Like I'm rolling this fucking dude. Like I'm about to take the dub home. And then he adapted. So I kept doing what I did in the first match. He adapted to that. And I was just like a bull. Like it was just, I'm still going to keep doing it, even though he had an answer for it. It was just like, and then I get done with the match and it's immediately, I'm like, I knew what I did wrong. It's like, but I'm in the match and it's just like, it don't matter. But as soon as I like, yo, GG's got my shit stood up, I was like, fuck, all he was doing was jabbing between my block strings. If I delay a button versus walking for it to grab or whatever, it's like immediate, man. Like, but while I'm playing, I'm like, oh, I'm better than this dude. I'm better than this dude. And I'm like, I'm just trying to ready up so quick to kind of keep like that momentum going. And like, I don't even listen to my own advice. So it's funny that you bring up like yo, a deep breath is so important, because I'm literally sitting there telling Blackout, like, bro, take a deep breath, like compose yourself, you got this, whatever. And then like my pool's after his, and he's like, the same shit I told him, not to do as me, like, yep, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I find talking to myself helps, because the same thing happened to me in Texas. I lost to a player that I felt like, I can't say if he would have beat, because if they would have adapted to my, but I knew in my head what I should be doing. It was very simple. He was teching every throw, and I was like, all you gotta do is shimmy. All you gotta do is shimmy. All you gotta do is literally all you do every time. He blocked it. I'll do a run stop, and he grab, and he threw every time, and I just kept doing it. And
Yep.
in my head, I was like, if I just took a moment, because I didn't take that moment between matches, I was like, if I just took a moment, I would have had I think, because I knew better in my head. It wasn't even matter if I knew what to do afterwards. I knew during the match, shimmy, 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 and I would not. And autopilot every time. And I was like, I don't know, let's see. I would have changed, who knows? But I didn't give myself the chance to pause, to take that moment and be like, yo, if you just shimmy. Because in my head, I'm just like, next time I'll shimmy. And next time I autopiloted my same block string into the throw, because that's what I go to. And yeah, so taking that breath, like I gotta do it, like, and that's actually something I started doing more recently between matches, like in tournament. So at the most recent local, I was actually taking time between matches and stopping, because normally I'm not between matches. Like start, I'll do my deep breaths. I always do 3. I'm like, I gotta hit 3 before it starts, before a deep breath, because now, and then I'm like, in my head, it's like I'm looking at like the poster where you can look at something and hit the little magnet. I'm like, I'm focused. I'm tunnel vision. I want to pretend like no one's even here, because I want to be like, yeah, this is how I'm focused on. But I don't like re-up between matches. If something happens, I'm just like, and so recently, and I did better locally with doing more of that, and be like, okay, let's take a moment. But yeah, us. In tournament, like online, like you see, like it's just like, next one, let's go, next one. Like that loss happened, let's go to the next one. And next thing you know, I'm 4 or 5 matches deep, and I'm just like, you could have just taken a break and watched a replay. You could have figured out why you lost, something like that. Now I'm upset because I'm down 100 points, and I'm upset that I'm playing someone that I honestly shouldn't be playing. But if I had just taking the time, and now I'm over here with the rest of the animals in the zoo, and I'm like, I don't belong in the zoo. I'm better than y'all. I'm a mammal. You're animals. I'm a mammal. And I'm like, no, you're down. Why are you down here with the rest of these animals?
Well, it's funny you say that too, because I think when you watch people play, so like I actually love watching Ryan play, because, and it's funny because I'm in my mind watching him play, and then I'll talk to him about it after he plays, and he's like, I think I kind of suck at that. And I'm like, bro, you're so good at that compared to like where I'm at. Because I've talked to him in the past where it's like, I'll watch him play, and he'll lose like the first match or whatever, and his adaptation from that first match to the rest of the set, it's like, bro, it's like he's just picking up on things and he's adapting so well, and then he comes from behind to win 2-1. And I'm like, bro, your adaptability is so good when you're like down like a match or whatever. And he responds like, no, I think I'm really bad at that. And I'm like, dude, trust me, I'm watching you, and you're doing really well at it. But it's funny because everybody is like, their own hardest critic, where they're like, oh, I'm not doing well, I'm not doing what I want to be doing, kind of thing. So it's fun watching Ryan, where like I don't play Tekken, but I can see him picking up on stuff, and I'm like, man, that's what I'm trying to implement when I'm playing, where I'm like, so what am I missing from that first match to the second match? Because then by the time I'm out, or I lost that full set, I knew what I did wrong, but by that time it's too late. I'm like, damn, I knew as soon as I got off the sticks what the problem was. And then I'm mad at myself because I'm like, oh, I could have just done this, and this, kind of thing. Versus, knowing that, taking that, and then applying that into the match while it's still happening. And I think that's what like Ryan is really good at, kind of thing, just because I've watched him play so much, just because we both live in Texas, kind of thing. So it's just like, I watch him do that, and I'm like, man, that's the shit I'm trying to do, kind of thing. So I wanted to hear what you guys, do when you're in a tournament, and like what your mindset is, and things like that. I definitely think me as a player, like I need to slow down, because a lot of the stuff that I do is like, I get like overconfident where like I'll beat somebody in that first match and then they adapt or they pick a different character or whatever, and then I'm like, yeah, man, I'm feeling great. And then, you know, I lose 2-1 because I just kept doing the same shit and they had an answer for it or whatever. And it's like not even like good. It's not even like high level stuff. Like, oh man, that dude shimmied the hell out of me, or he was frame trapping me, or like, you know, things like that. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna still jump. He's anti-aired me 4 times. I'm still gonna jump, kind of thing. And David's like yelling at me like, dog, stop jumping. And I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
kind of thing. But go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, but like it's little things too, because like I remember being to Evo. So the first Evo that I made it out of pools was 2 years ago, and literally the only thing that changed when I'm playing my match is we were pretty deep that year, and one of my homies was like, "Yo, anti-air," and that like, bro, I literally won the match because of that. But the same thing happened in Colorado. I was literally in Colorado, and I lose to this Geef player all the time online, and I played him in person at this tournament for the monthly. And all Chris did was come by and say, yo, just anti-air this dude. And I beat him 2-0. And I was like, all right. Bet.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you covered there. First of all, the story about you and David is awesome because it just speaks to like why it's so cool to travel to tournaments, because you have so many like random stories like that of like, oh, I told this dude to do this one thing, but when it was my turn, I didn't do it. Or just like all like experiences that you have when you travel with your voice. So if you haven't traveled to an offline event, please do it. There's nothing else like it. But yeah, fighting like when you're playing in a tournament match, obviously these are matches that have a bit of consequence to them. Like they have a meaning. It's not just like, oh, I can just, you know, start right back over after this is over. And because of that, people tend to press more. People are more nervous. So it's hard in this like stressful kind of competitive interaction you're having with somebody to have that softness to like adjust to like, oh, I'm trying to do my thing, I'm running into this issue here, let me try something else, or have the next option ready or whatever. Because some of that adaptability comes from preparation. Like, you know that this is I'm trying to gather information on how he or she is responding defensively, and I'm like, okay, well, I know that this is going to be ready. This is he's giving me this, so I'm gonna try to take it. And then, oh, they close that. Do I have the next option ready? Do my options balance against each other well, so that I can continue to put things on top of their mental stack, give them more to worry about. They can't just defend me the same way, because I find that people have a lot of like kind of, just like I have default like offensive things, people have default defensive things, and you want to try to mold what you're doing to what they're doing. Because I know that I fall victim to like falling in love with a few key options just because I like to use it, or I like hitting that shit or whatever. And when I fall in love with options like that, I tend to run into trouble. Like my offense feels very like weak. It feels like, why can't I like do anything to this dude? And it's because I've fallen in love with these 1 or 2 options or whatever, and I'm losing like the same thing happened to me at Texas Showdown. I lost that first match against that Steve player. The mayor was like, I need you to down 42. And
bro, that shit was wild. I wish y'all could have seen it. It was like, actually you can see it, because I recorded that. That shit was insane. So I'm standing, I haven't met the mayor yet, so I'm just watching Ryan play. I don't know a lot of Tekken people, so the mayor's standing next to me and he's like, yo man, excuse me, I'm gonna try to say something to him. And I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, yo, who the hell's this dude? Like, I'm standing here recording, and then whatever he said to Ryan, bro, it was like night and day difference. And I leaned down, I looked at him, I said, hey man, go tell him that again, because whatever you told him is working, bro. Like
yeah, and sometimes in that competitive, like stressful environment, it's hard to see, you know, the forest from the trees. And somebody who's not playing, who's not so attached to it, they can say, especially, you know, if you're like listening to what they're saying, and people who know what they're doing will give you good advice. It can make a world difference. So yeah, again, shout out to the mayor. That helped a lot. That was a huge reason why I won that match. But yeah. Yeah, that's all I had. I did want to mention one thing about music, because Chris mentioned music. I am not a music person at all when I'm playing. I need game sound, because I I would go. I always play with game sound on, and I would go to tournaments. And tournaments don't. Not all tournament setups even have speakers or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would play on a setup with no sound, and I would be screwed because it just feels so foreign. And then on top of that, you're listening to whoever and their boys talking all kind of shit, and it like messes me up in the head. So now I make sure that the controller of choice that I use has an input jack, so that if there's not a headphone setup, I can plug directly into my controller and I'm good. I am very much like I like to be immersed in the game, and that helps me deal with like the nerves and stuff too. Because even if I'm playing on stream, like on a big stage or something, I hear the sound first before I hear the crowd, and so that keeps me locked in a little bit. So it's definitely a personal preference thing.
Yeah, I definitely feel like if anyone's getting into it these days, you're probably gonna hear. I started playing in the Third Strike PS2 days, so there's definitely like you weren't hearing the CRT, like no one brought it. So you were hearing especially down here, people Colorado's loud, and we had a rivalry back in the day. So Denver was yelling at me, Springs was yelling back at them, and I just had the rhythm of the buttons. That's how I could do my Ghanesian combos. I'm like, like the way everyone's chanting A for Yun in my head. I'm like, and pump, and palm, and here, and hit. And in my head, that's the rhythm of pressing the buttons is how I get. And I was like, well, I could do that, or I could just listen to my own music. So I just kind of picked it up. But I do like for the combos, rhythm of the buttons. I'm literally feeling the same way people learned how to parry and everything else. That's how I hit the combos. Like, so people I don't understand how I don't typically have to adjust too much between PC and PS5, at least the tournaments I've been to where they have good monitors. I haven't had it. I can't have any issues at Texas at all. Same combos, and literally because I'm not looking. There's like maybe I think there's one combo Kimberly has where I have to have a visual because there's a delay, but everything else is just I have the rhythm of the buttons, and that has helped. But yeah, there's something like I said, Ken, I gotta hear him say Jinrai to know I'm not allowed to press a button here. But for the most part, everything else, there's not too many sound cues in Street Fighter 6 where I had to worry about it. But there have been some other games where I'm like, I play a lot of anime games. There's been some BlazBlue games where stuff's happening off screen and you got to be able to hear what summon someone did, because I'm playing Rachel and I'm off the screen and someone's down there doing something and I can't hear it. And next thing you know, a pole came from the top of the screen because someone DP'd at the bottom of the screen and I couldn't hear it because I was up in the clouds. But thankfully, Street Fighter 6 does not have that issue.
I think rhythm is like a big thing when it comes to like, so when people say muscle memory, to me, that's what I like think of, because like a lot of combos in games are like rhythm based, not necessarily where you're like, like counting to like a beat 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it's just the cadence that you're pressing the buttons, and if you've done it enough, you understand that like every combo has like a certain rhythm to it, kind of thing. And that's what that muscle memory is when you're used to doing that kind of thing. But to kind of rewind to like CEO, so CEO almost brought like the old Duran out because David was playing this dude and his homie was like cheering him on, and I'm like, I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem with that. So he plays this dude first, beats him. Of course, him and David end up playing. So before they started playing, I don't know if this dude was new or what, but like he's watching his homie play. His homie's up. The other guy on the sticks, another guy comes over and gives him like, between rounds, like, between matches, you're like, hey man, dude, blah, 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 blah. This dude that's talking shit is like, yo, mid-set coaching? Is that allowed? And I'm like, bro, what? Where are you from? Like, this has been a thing forever kind of thing. So as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, I hope this dude loses. Like immediately, just because his homeboy was being a dick. Like I didn't even care about him saying like talking trash or whatever, but as soon as he was like mid-set coaching, I was like, bro, here we go. So then David, of course, was up next to play him. And I'm like telling David, like, I just need you to beat this dude, because if you're up, I'm gonna look at him and be like, yo, somebody come mid-set coach this, whatever kind of thing. I was ready, bro. David lost 2-0, so I never had to pop off, but bro, I was sitting there ready, like, please, David, give me a reason.
That's not how I thought the story was going to end.
Bro, I was like, Hey, I don't usually talk. I'm a kind of quiet person unless I know you. If I know you, I'll shoot the shit and be loud, whatever. But like, if my homies are playing, bro, I'm there. Like, that's my dude. Whether I play the game or not, like, if someone's talking shit, I'm like, we're going back and forth kind of thing. So when David's like down, I can't say nothing. Just like, damn, like I was waiting, bro. I had it locked and loaded. Like I keep that thing on me.
Oh, man.
All right,
Yes.
back on track. So one of the things I wanted to go over too, because so Ryan kind of talked about it earlier when he was talking about I always say his name wrong. VDX.
PDX, yeah.
VDX. So when you say you're prepping or like you're getting ready for like to go sit down and play, the question I have is like, how do you set your game plan going, like game plan, and like what is your like routine getting ready to go play? So like, how would I play this character? I know I need to find a game plan, but how do I like warm up before I go into that tournament? So is like, are you have a set cadence of things that you're doing? Like I'm doing 10 of these, I'm doing 5 of these, or kind of thing. Like, what does that look like? Because I watched you do it at Texas Showdown and I was like, damn, this is kind of dope. Like I've never seen somebody have like a, because we'll all go down and like play and warm up and shit like that. But like Ryan was the first person I saw to have like this is what I do to prep before I'm getting into matches to go play kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, shout out to PDX, super great content creator, and did a lot of good work in Tekken 7. Still, making tons of content now. But yeah, I actually had drills and stuff that I would do before this, but I never really incorporated it into prepping for a tournament until I started thinking about it for Tekken 8. And I think there are like key things for King that I need to be able to do in match without thinking about it in order to not get caught up. So my throw buffers need to be really good. Like I can't miss them really. My combos all in instant shining wizard, so I can't drop that. And in Tekken 8, it makes a big difference if you're getting the just frame version of that because that adds extra damage. So I definitely prep that kind of stuff. So basic movement, backdashing, that kind of stuff, getting that warm. But I try to do a certain number of my bread and butter combo routes, and I do like on a daily. Like if I'm here, like before I start playing, I'll do like 3 in a row. I have to do 3 in a row without missing of each kind. So it's not really a lot, but 3 in a row without missing, and I have 3 main combo routes that I have to get right, and one of those has a micro dash pickup. And so if I mess up micro dash pickup, or I mess up the shining wizard at the end on any of those combos, I start over from the beginning. Then there's kind of like defensive reaction kind of stuff. The one that I go to the most is the law drill that FDX talked about, which I actually think Speed Kicks came up with, where there's a move that is minus 14. There's a move that's minus 13. There's a move that's minus 15. There are highs that you need to duck. And then I add reactable lows and throws to that as well. So it's like 8 different moves. And I'll run through them for there's usually like 10 or 15 minutes, but like to where I feel like I'm doing it pretty well. And then a lot of times I'll say, okay, I need to defend 5 of these in a row without missing one or something like that. If I want to practice throw breaking specifically, I'll do someone that has command grabs for all three throw breaks. So 1, 2, 1 plus 2. So like dragon off or something like that. And I'll just stand in front of them and let them throw me, and I break them as much as I can. I'll do that for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll try to throw in some things that require some reaction as well, so I'm not just standing there waiting for throws. So I'll throw in like a reactable low and like a minus 12 move or something like that. And I do that before I go down. So I was mentioning that before in the prep. Like I'm playing matches good because you need to be able to move and make your decisions in real time and place yourself at the right spot and all that. But there's a little bit of like just eye to mind connection that I want in there, and I try to do that. I try to start that prep, like an hour or more, hour and a half before it's time to go down, so I can get like a good 30, 40 minutes of that before I go down and start trying to play some matches.
That's great to know. I didn't even think about that. Like, I'm writing notes because I said like I'm being selfish, bro. I'm trying to learn this shit myself. So, but like when you said the 3 combo routes that you use the most to like practice, I'm like, bro, I've never thought of that. Like, yo, that B&B that I'm going to go to at some point in time during this match, I should probably practice that and make sure my timing's on and stuff like that. Because I definitely have a huge problem of like, especially in like majors, is like going in cold kind of thing. And I'm like, man, I need to like, especially at like CEO, bro, because there was mad casual setups. Like that was probably the most casual setups I've ever seen at a tournament, like where they had like probably probably 3 Tekken, 3 Street Fighter tables, so probably roughly
20 or 30.
12, 18, probably 18 setups for each game. So 18 for Tekken and 18 for Street Fighter, where you can just sit down and like play. And that's like, that was rare, and I should have took advantage of that kind of thing, or like to get some of that timing in. Because I do agree with like Chris. I don't know what Tekken's like, but like as far as Street Fighter goes, yes, there's a slight difference, but like I don't feel like I'm dropping shit on PlayStation versus PC, and I feel like a lot of people like that's like their crutch or
for the big ones
or whatever.
For the big ones, like I said, Texas, I had no issue playing on that setup with the monitors, and I know that's the Evo setup. So, and I don't own a PS4, own a PS5. Some of my friends do, but I have not felt the need to be like, yo, can I borrow your PS5 the week before a major to get the timing down? Like, so far, I have not had any issues compared. Now, that said, I have like I think mine's like I don't have like a 244 or whatever, 265 or whatever hertz. I'm at 165 hertz, I think. So I'm not that crazy off compared to some people who might have like top. But compared to playing here and then going to a tournament, I have not had that issue. For good, where the PS5 not overheating, they're switching it out, they have a good monitor, that kind of stuff. I have definitely felt some bad where I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this combo. Like, I'm not even gonna worry about this combo today. We're gonna go to the old. We're not worried about being optimal today. We're worried about just finishing. But for the most part, if you go into a combo breaker, you go into a CEO, you go into Evo, you go into anyone that has some money put into it, gaming generation is bringing the setups. I've had no issues there, so that hasn't been an issue between. Because same thing, I bring my laptop, I'm playing on PC at home, and before I come down, I'm playing on my laptop, and that's what I'm practicing on. And so far, I have not had any. I haven't had any drops that I'm putting down the game. Any drops I had, I can be like, no, that was me. I messed up. My hand position was wrong. Whatever. I haven't had any. Oh, I just all of a sudden I'm missing my B&B links. That type of thing hasn't happened with a good setup. Now I know sometimes you'll see Punk tweeting and he's just the loudest. But then other people were like, yo, this setup, I don't know what's going on. And he's just the loudest about it. And I'm like, okay. But when they got the VRR monitors with the PS5, I have personally not had those big problems that some people have had, but with bad setups in the PS5 that overheats because they didn't replace it.
Do you guys, so my next question would be is like, do you guys have like a flow chart almost for like your character where like, I play X character, I'm going into this tournament. Do you have like situations where it's like, excuse me, like I'm going to see if they have an answer to this. If they have an answer to that, I'm going to go into this kind of thing. Or is it just like how do you find a game plan for your character where you're like, this is what I want to, like, if they have an answer to it, I'm cool with this. If not, I'm doing this. Or like, how do you go about like going into a match? Because it's like, you have to control the chaos, because anybody that hasn't played in a tournament and you go up against somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, like you're playing this match and it's just like, I don't remember who said it, but one of like, this is, man, back in the day, I remember one of the people, I think it was Yipes, where he was like, I don't remember what he called it, like ultra odd player or some shit like that, a Yop, like that.
Yops.
Where it's like, how do you play against a person that doesn't know what the hell they're doing? Like,
shit, what's it called?
They don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Was it like unorganized, unorthodox player or something like that?
Yeah. Do you guys have stuff set up for like those weaker players? Because I personally tend to do better against people that like in my mind play Street Fighter. Like, oh, they're playing the game how it's like, I don't want to say how it's supposed to be played, but it's like I can do block strings and stuff like that because they're respecting buttons versus this dude that's just like, yo, We letting them, rain out or ring out or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So part of my, we've talked a little bit about before. I've told you I feel like I'm a slow starter. Part of it is because I don't really have that. And the realist has told me like I really should have that. Like I should have this like these like 2 or 3 or 4 things you can check them on, and if they don't know how to do them, you just get them out of there. And I genuinely don't have that. Like when I'm playing someone, I am like information gathering at first, and that's probably what you see. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm too busy kind of like trying to figure it out. By the first thing I know, like 2 rounds are gone. I'm like, oh shit. Well, now I know what to do, but now I gotta like put it together to try to like get the win or whatever. I do think it's a good thing to have. I don't really have that. Like I have options, and I know what I generally like. What are the strongest things that I want to do with my character? But I usually don't go in and say, okay, I'm gonna run up and do this and run up and do that and see what happens. I usually like I'm gonna dash and see what he's looking for, and then start to try to like game plan from there. Probably
It's
not.
funny because I watch you play and you kind of remind me like of Alex Valle, because that's how Valle used to play. So Valle always used to do this thing where like I don't want to say he would purposely lose the first match, but like he would go and play and it was the same thing. Like his whole thing was like he was just gathering as much info as he could from that first couple of rounds or whatever kind of thing. And then his ability to adapt, like if you look at most of his sets, a lot of them he's winning. It's like 2-1, and that's what I like think of when I watch you play, because like I sit there and I watch you and then I'm like, yo, this dude's like adaptability is insane kind of thing, because you like, it's like you just said, you process it that way. You're going in, you're seeing what they're doing, and then you're adapting based off of what you've processed. And I am not that type of player, because like I need to get to that, but like it's harder for me to do that where I'm like adapt, because these games are quick. Like if you've never played a fighting game, bro, like I used to play Madden competitively, and like I would get tournament jitters and play like shit. And then it's funny, I go back and play Madden. I'm not good at it anymore because the game is just completely different. Like I played PS2 era, so like the engine itself is completely different. But I go and I play, and when I play, I'm like, I have so much time, dude, because a game is like 45 minutes. And like a fighting game match is like 2-3 minutes, if that sometimes. Like I'm looking, recording a set, and I'm like, damn, this is a long set. It went 8 minutes. Like that's pretty long, like for a fighting game, because most of them are probably, realistically 3 to 4, unless you get 2 really good players and they're going back and forth last round, last match kind of thing. So I have a hard time with that kind of adaptability. So that's why I ask, is like, hey, are you able to find a game plan for your character? And you have these, like, in my mind, it's almost like these scrub killer things where it's like, oh, they don't know what to do against this. I'm just going to keep doing this shit. Like, yeah. And I know Chris has them, because I know we've talked about him for sure when he's playing Kim, where he's like, I do this, this, and this. Oh, you don't have an answer to it? I'm going to keep doing this shit. Yeah. Or, oh, you pressed a button there? You don't know? I'm going to, keep doing this.
My main problem, honestly, is keeping doing it. Because after once, twice, I'm like, okay, you should know better. I'm gonna preemptively go towards the next thing that I have, the thing that and next thing you know, I'm like, if I had just kept doing this, like I go look at the replay, I'm like, oh, he was still doing delay jab. I could have just kept doing the same thing, and honestly, so that's honestly it's almost a crux, because I'm like, okay, my first knockdown, depending on what I hit, in my head I'm like, I already got it planned out. This is the Oki I'm gonna go for. Do you know about this? Okay, you know about the overhead. All right. Do you know the overhead's plus? Okay, okay. So that means now I can throw a little bit more. Oh, you blocked the overhead. Do you know about the low? Do you know the low doesn't really combo? Okay. All right. So like I have that in my head. The problem is that you get hit by the overhead. I don't keep doing the overhead. I'm like, you got hit by the overhead once. You know now. Now it's time I can do the fun stuff. And no, I should have just kept doing the overhead until I saw you block it, and then start doing for the fun stuff. But in my head, I'm like, oh, he knows. Now I can do the fun stuff. And then, no, he was just holding back because he was afraid of he's used to playing Shotos, and they do crouch medium every time, and so he was just holding back, and that's all. And but in my notes, I will create a general game plan to figure out how much someone knows about the match. I'll be like, all right, this knockdown, all right, we're gonna do this and see, do they know about the overhead? because that's a simple thing. You block it, I'm negative, but you can't punish me, you know. And it gives me a lot of information just off the fact that if they happen to block low a lot, that means they haven't played Kimberly a lot, because that's kind of, back when she came out, that was like the first thing everyone found out, is that on Oki she has a +1 overhead. And now, so that kind of goes from there. And then the way I develop it is literally, it's just, I hate people that mash. And I want to find a way to make sure that on most knockdowns, if not all knockdowns, I have a way to where you can't mash. If you DP me, you took a good guess, and it is what it is. And I try to live that way. I literally have in my notes, die by DP, where I'm like, you either go in or disengage, but don't hesitate, because if, I swear to God, if I lose to you delay jabs because I was afraid of your DP, I would much rather you DP my face every time than lose to a delay jab because I thought you might DP, but I didn't just disengage. I just, well, maybe up, and now I get counter hit or something like that. So that's part of in my head. I'm like, literally, I have, don't be a bitch, do good mix, die by DP. Like, literally, those 3 phrases are at the top of my notes, where I'm like, do good mix, don't be a bitch, die by DP. So I'm like, prove to me you're gonna do it. But like how I literally do it, I was like, oh, how do I, so if I find something, I get a knockdown, and of course you can't just, unless you know your character amazingly, you can't just figure it out. You gotta go, oh, I had this knockdown, he mashed, and how do I stop them from being able to mash again? And then it goes into, okay, on this knockdown I'm gonna do this, and then in my head I know I have these options afterwards, because that's the, I play a mix-up character. I know, okay, the overhead and hit, I got a low, I got a, I can set up a throw, etc. And then I just have in my head, okay, go through the sequence of, okay, and streaming's helped a lot, because when I'm explaining what I'm doing to the stream, I'm putting voice to things that I used to just do naturally, and so I'm putting a bit more thought into it than just, let me try this here. Now in my head, now I'm saying out loud, okay, he's teching here a lot, we're gonna shimmy next time. And so now I have that in my head in tournament, where I'm like, okay, like before it was just try to adjust, but I'm putting voice to some things that were kind of natural before. And so I'm like, okay, he's doing this here, let's do this next. And saying it out loud on stream has helped me actually do it the next time, instead of being like, you know what, I should have did. I'm actually like, yeah, I said I was going to do it, and then you feel that rush when you do it and it actually works, and then you did it the next time. I didn't try to throw you and let you tech 5-6 times, and unless I know I want to save it. And that's something I've done before, where I haven't done in a long time, where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna save this for when I need that kill. Yeah, you teching a lot, I'm gonna let you keep teching. I'm getting little hits here and there. Oh, I got the, like, stuff like that, where I'm like, okay, now it's time to shimmy. Before it was just, I wouldn't do it on purpose, I was just autopiloting. My fingers kept wanting to hit throw. Street Fighter curse every time. When in doubt, you press and throw, and I get shimmied all the time because of that. I know better. I say take the throw. I say out loud take the throw, and I still be like, whoop.
Now it's even worse too, because if you're doing that, like, block string throw and they're teching it, they're getting dry bar back too. So it's even worse. Now it's like they're getting rewarded for the shit that you're not doing, kind of thing. So like it's incentivized you to like shimmy even more, kind of thing. So all right, well, we're at an hour. I feel like we could probably go for another hour, honestly, but I always try to keep these for an hour for everybody that's kind of watching it. I definitely have more questions, but I feel like this was fantastic, especially kind of going over like the mental stack. I mean, we covered that for almost 30 minutes. It was just kind of like, what are you looking for? What are you going over? Because I think the one thing that's really helped me improve, because this is probably the best I've ever been at Street Fighter, and I'm still not even like the greatest, but like the one thing that like I know I've been getting a lot better at is like how I practice, and really focusing on that, and like when I'm playing, what am I doing versus just playing, kind of thing. And I think this was like just super valuable information to kind of cover and go over too, especially with a lot of people. Not everybody's 20 and can just play games all damn day. Like a lot of us work, and by the time we get on the sticks, or time to play or whatever, it's like we're trying to play and we're also trying to improve, and we're not just trying to play just to play. So I thought this was super viable, and that's kind of what I'm hoping this kind of transitions to, because I feel like we're past like the introduction. what got you into fighting games. Like, I want to kind of get into like the nitty gritty kind of stuff, and it's kind of cool to see, especially when we're traveling for these tournaments and we're seeing stuff. And I'm seeing like all of the homies like be more successful because they're playing more. Like, I just saw David this weekend, and he's like, bro, I went to the local, I guess, suplex, and he got third, and I'm like, bro, let's go. Like, that's what you want to see, kind of thing. So it's just like, it's hype to see that, and it's like, I want to see all of us grow as well. And I know it's something we've talked about for like next year. I would love to see if we can get like a calendar going where like maybe it's everybody's planned events that we're going to and things like that, and that we can travel deep kind of thing and have some good runs and
I'm
representation.
telling you right now, like CEO definitely be dope. I'm gonna see what happens money wise and everything, because we're definitely trying to get move into a new place here. But I was thinking, I mean, the rest of the year for the U.S. for the most part is kind of dead after Evo, and I'm like, you know what that means? I can save money, and I'm kind of looking at Evo Japan as a possibility, because I'm like, you got the rest of it. Like after August, ain't nothing to do but save, because I'm not really gonna try. Like I'm not gonna be going to any majors. There's nothing there in this like in the States. So I was like, I need to get a passport, and then maybe we'll see what everything's like. But I mean, that'd be a good time to go, because we're gonna have a bunch of people who know better, who can speak the language, have been there multiple times, can help. People be like, hey, this is where you're going to play, that kind of thing. So I might.
Because even Japan's usually what, April?
I want to say March is when I think it was.
I think it was like March, April, May-ish, somewhere at that time.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I want to say it was March. But that said, I think it might have got delayed, because I think it was supposed to be earlier, but because of the Street Fighter League stuff with the fires. So I don't know if it's good that year every year. But that said, I'm not committed yet, but that's an idea. But a CEO would be nice. I haven't been to an official. I've been a CEO Otaku, but I haven't been to like a regular CEO. But CEO Otaku was in Orlando, but I've experienced a Jabali tournament where I woke up at 1 a.m. and my roommates were snoring, and I was like, let me go see what's up. And I go in there and set all the setups everywhere, and people were playing, and good people are playing.
Like, it's fire too, because like we didn't even talk about like the resort that it was at was like dope. Like
super nice.
Yeah, it was super nice. There's tons of shit to do there too while you're there, and it's not like
the food
you're having to walk the strip, or the food was great. Like I didn't even look, but I guarantee you they probably have like spas there, all sorts of shit. Like it was like super high end, but it also it was expensive, but it wasn't like Vegas expensive, where I was like, bro, this is killing my wallet kind of thing. But it was dope. Like,
the golf course is awesome, by the way. Really nice course. Had a great time. I believe that resort is perfect for a CEO. It's like has it's a really nice place, but it's not like so nice that you don't feel like you don't belong there. It's pretty accepting. And I saw Frank Thomas at the venue.
Awesome.
The big hurt, the Frank Thomas from the Chicago White Sox, that guy walked into the bar where me and my boys Hustle were eating, and so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, he hit me up. Yo, I just saw fucking Frank Thomas. I'm like, what? Because like that was one of him and Griffey were like my favorite players growing up as a kid. So it was like, bruh, no.
I do want to say one last thing about improvement in general, about the idea of like losing to what do you call yops? Yops?
Yeah, yops. I just call them animals. Gotta tame the zoo.
Fighting game progression is not linear. Meaning, like, there are tons of things you get better at. You might perform well at certain things, and then somebody finds that weakness that you don't have, or that you don't have covered. And these types of players that do crazy stuff, they're perfect for that. Of finding all the like weird gaps or things you don't think people are gonna do or whatever. It's like the equivalent of shoring up your defenses in a real fight so that you don't get beat up by somebody doing this. It's like the same thing. And so I appreciate like going through those types of experiences. And honestly, I think playing online helps a lot with that.
You had to run.
Yeah.
I was waiting for because if he wouldn't go say it, I was gonna say it. You know how you learn how to beat those people? You play ranked, because you got to get through them to get to the good people. It's just like a tournament. You're playing first round, And that's I always tell people. I know people hate ranked, and for good reason. They have good reasons to hate it, but you don't have a choice when you're in tournament. You gotta play those people. If you want to get to the people who you think you're good, as good as, or feel like you might have a shot against, you gotta get through the lower rounds, and you gotta play someone who is wild. And if you don't know how to stop that because you never dealt with it, and you only play the good people that you know, or you only play strong players, and I'm like, man, I'm over here, I'm taking games off of Snake Eyes and everything else, and then I lose to someone who's 1600 because I didn't know how to stop him from. I lost to a Jamie player because I didn't know what block string I should do against it. He was literally just pressing one button in my block strings, and I was like, I actually don't know what I should do to counter that in that spacing. If he was right next to me, I got you. But that spacing he's doing, I actually don't know. I have to go to replay, check it out, and be like, oh, this actually would have worked. But if I had never gotten that and I ran into that in tournament, I would have been hit. Motherfucking Jamie over here mashing one button. Ooh, 5-frame fierce because you. I would have been so upset.
So definitely, put yourself out there. I know, playing ranked and playing against unorthodox players is frustrating, but that's a huge part of improving. And you have to give yourself grace. It's okay. That's part of getting better. And you have to be able to put yourself out there and deal with that stuff. And it gives you respect for how hard it actually is to be a top player, because you have to think everybody has a variance in how good or bad they're going to play. So if I'm at level, my normal level is 3, I can play as good as a 5 or as bad as a 1, right? So a top player's worst has to be better than most people's best consistently all around the world with all different characters and all different play styles to be those names you see in the top 8 every week. That's really fucking hard.
Like that.
Yeah.
I know we're going real quickly. I was watching Punk, and this man will play between tournament matches, between sets, be like, you know what? I feel like playing this character. Not warmed up. Blah blah blah. We just had a patch less than a month ago. Already, I'm watching you kill and be like, I haven't seen you play Ken in 6 months, and not only are you playing him well, you knew that hit was gonna kill, and I was like, I don't think that's, and it did, and you knew better, and again, I haven't seen you play this character in months, and I've been watching your streams, and I know he, for the most part, plays only on stream. I know, of course, he plays friends, etc., but that level is different to here, and you can because there are people who you can watch your journey and see what they got on. So don't take that to mean you can't get there, but to also understand that there's differences between the strengths and everything that you got to get up to. And real quick, I just want to also mention, we'll have it linked here. I started writing a little document way back when. That's how the whole flowchart thing came up, and I posted it forever. I'll have to find it here, but I wanted to let if you made it to the end, the links in the content and the links in the below, where you can click on it and kind of help you develop some of the thoughts I have when I'm like, here's what I think about for a game plan. Just general stuff that I don't want to have to think about in match, so that I can focus on this guy keeps teching and not be mad at myself that I didn't shimmy earlier because I was thinking about what my Oki should be. My Oki's planned out. Now I can focus on what they're doing. All
right. I'll let Chris send us off.
Woo! I don't know if I remember how to do this. It's been a long time. Hey everybody, thanks for coming through. If you are a new watcher coming through, just rediscovering us because we've been out for some months, thanks for coming through. If you made it to the end, you know what? Leave a little comment. Let me get a where you're from. If you're in the States, let me hear what state you're from. If you're somewhere else in the world, let me know what country you're from. Just show us you made it here. And as always, Thursday is community night. If you are in the Western Hemisphere, we're gonna say, because we're gonna hear we have people from the UK that come in the community and hang out night and everything, and hang out night there. Hub 13 Street Fighter 6 on Thursday. Come through, holla at us in the voice chat if you're in a Discord, and we like to help people get better. post replays. I stream on Fridays, and this coming Friday I will focus on. But maybe we'll see depending on when this comes out. But for the next couple of Fridays, I'll be focusing on replays because my last couple streams were short. So come in there, get better, be part of the community, and as always, what about peace? Peace.